Real estate prices are dropping like a rock everywhere in the United States. It's not just in certain cities, but we're also seeing over leveraging. In fact, there's more commercial real estate loans being taken out in the past few years in the history of the US. It's a little bit concerning when you even got the FDIC coming out saying, hey guys, we got a little bit too many loans right now. A lot of debt is being racked up in the US economy. These are not great things. If you look at this, the San Francisco penthouse, we're seeing insanely big drops in San Francisco real estate, which is very worrisome given the fact that San Francisco has some of the most expensive real estate in the world. So seeing the San Francisco penthouse getting their price slashed by $5 million is not something to laugh at. And if you look at some of these pictures, this penthouse does look stunning, right? You can see the water, the bridge, and several other buildings. Like, I give this penthouse a 10 out of 10, and you also have this very classy look as well. It's also a pre-war building at 2000 Washington Street. If you check out this penthouse and the building, this is by no means a cheap building and cheap condo. This is very high end, and this is what you call like old money. And these buildings look beautiful. Like, these pre-war buildings are very expensive, and rich people in the past will always try to get these penthouses, these condo units. In fact, some even started bidding wars for these, but now nobody wants them, and it's getting its price slashed by $5 million. That is not a small amount at all. A sprawling 2-level penthouse with sweeping views of Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz, and Russian Hill has slashed prices by $5 million after more than a full year on the market. Redfin recently released a data report that shows San Francisco homeowners are selling their properties at a loss at a highest rate of any major metropolitan city in the US. So almost 15% of all San Francisco homeowners sold their property at a loss, which is twice as much as the 7% figure in Detroit. And Detroit's already pretty bad, and many people who bought Detroit houses, condos, and properties back a few years ago, they've never made money. In fact, prices just simply keep going down, and people are still losing money. And guess what? The average loss selling their homes in San Francisco was $122,000. Guys, that's like a Porsche 911, right? These are very high prices that these sellers are losing on. Now, this penthouse was first listed at $25 million. It's relisted in October 17 at $19.9 million. And of course, it drew in a lot of media attention, and prices will continue to drop as time goes on. But I gotta admit, this house or penthouse looks absolutely fantastic. Not only got sweeping views, but you're also in like a pre-war building. And these buildings are timeless. They hold their value. And some even say that construction back then, the walls are thicker and everything's just better. But this is a pre-war condo. It's double floors, insane HOAs and property tax, and even if they listed for $20 million, I don't think anyone wants to buy this. In fact, the most recent mansion in San Francisco gave it a 50% price cut before being sold. Originally listed for $20 million, sold for $10. So I don't really think this penthouse is getting sold anytime soon. And if you look around, more than a third of San Francisco's office space is currently empty. This is a big deal, given the fact that a lot of major banks and cities and people, investors around the world invest in San Francisco real estate, because most of the biggest towers in San Francisco are usually office space, and some of them are apartment buildings, but even the apartment buildings are taking a massive hit. It's by no laughing matter. I mean, it's only going to get worse in my opinion. A lot of people feel like San Francisco commercial real estate will eventually recover, but I don't think so. In fact, many people are thinking the same way. They feel like San Francisco's office property is busted. The vacancy levels are hitting 36%, the highest it's ever seen. It's higher than 2008. It seems like everyone's just leaving this place. We're seeing some of the biggest companies already downgrading their offices. And a lot of these San Francisco properties and these massive towers that you see in the skyline are completely empty. And especially rich people are leaving the city for other places. Now, if you want to check out how much the population had declined, just look at the amount of people making restaurant reservations. If you look at OpenTable, they are saying that restaurant scenes in San Francisco, Chicago, and even Seattle are getting hit by the hardest. But Seattle and Chicago, they're getting hit by like 20%, but San Francisco, whole different animal. OpenTable is saying that in San Francisco, the amount of reservations was only 41% as high as before. That's terrible. You're telling me almost half the people no longer do restaurant reservations in San Francisco. That's a humongous number. That is not a small number at all. And these reservations easily tell if a city is growing or not. If you also look at signaling towers and the amount of people using smartphones in downtown has dropped by 70%. And on average in the whole entire San Francisco area, you already have a lot of restaurant owners, a lot of small businesses, especially, like I said, in the restaurant business, experiencing a huge downturn of customers. I mean, not even APEC was able to save them. And things are only going to get worse. Seems like the restaurant scene is getting worse and worse by the day in San Francisco. We're seeing many restaurants closing down. Every single week, there's always some restaurant being closed down, vandalized, or robbed. And business owners just cannot survive in these types of very difficult environments. And if you guys ever worked in the restaurant industry, it's very hard. Profit margins are usually very thin. If anything breaks, anything stolen, anything vandalized, that's just knocks off hours and hours of hard work, right? And then check this out, the commercial real estate is going to get better for investors. Like what? I don't think that's happening. We're seeing way too much optimism in this troubled commercial real estate market. If you look at San Francisco, you kind of see how bad it was, right? Even residential properties are taking forever to sell. And these office spaces are literally selling for 50% off. I'm not even joking when I'm telling you 50% off. Actually, some buildings like 300 Mission Street was sold for 80% off. And if you check out 201 Spear Street, this is like one of the best offices because it's next to one of the most expensive office buildings in the world, okay? And also one of the most expensive condo buildings in the world. This building here, the orange one, sold for 50% off. This whole entire building only sold for a measly $50 to $60 million, though it's right next to the water. And these condo owners just bought one bedroom for $2 million. And I don't think they're very pleased to see their adjacent building, which is literally a stone's throw away, just sold for 50% off. And that really makes me wonder, like, if this whole entire building was sold for a measly 50 to 60 million, what's going to happen to all of these buildings? Are all these buildings just down in the dumps? Because a lot of these other buildings are experiencing massive property downgrades as well. What's really worse about this is San Francisco refuses to acknowledge this, and property taxes are still extremely high. They're still going up despite property prices just going down. So we're going to be seeing more foreclosures. Every single week, I always see some San Francisco condo or San Francisco penthouse getting a massive property price decline. I mean, it's happening everywhere. It's only going to get worse. And even these massive new construction buildings of condos, I don't think they're selling anytime soon. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. And before we leave, definitely check out the private Discord server, guys. Patreon link below for some amazing trades. We trade live on a daily basis every single day. And look at this. We're making a bunch of cash. We're having a bunch of money. It's great. 7-day free trial. It's super easy to follow. Even I follow some of these trades. And a lot of these trades are extremely profitable. There's a 7-day free trial. What's there to lose? Check us out. We spent a very long time on the server. And we also hired some of the best analysts.